and welcome back to this week's edition of Hawk Talk. I'm Kenzie Grubbs, and I have two brand new guests on this week. So introduce yourself, who you are, and where you're from, and what do you do here at DSU?
I am Aspen Lenning. I am in the agricultural department over at DSU. So the building that's separate, the big, ugly yellow building. I'm involved in all sorts of things on campus. All of the above. I have my hands in a lot of cookie jars.
Okay. Okay.
And my name is Abigail Mulberg. I'm from Dickinson, North Dakota. I am in the Natural Sciences department. So I also am in my own little building, but it's on campus, more directly than the egg building. And I am a biology pre-med major. And I also am involved in a lot on campus, but the reason that we're here is we are both commencement speakers.
Yes. So how is being so involved for you two? Like, how has that shaped who you are as a senior now?
The biggest thing is we have both learned to balance a lot at one time. Really getting to learn how to say no, because freshman Aspen said yes to everything and regretted it. And so I'm happy to say that I don't know what Abigail is going to say, but I've definitely gotten down to my wants and needs. So
she does not say no.
No, I'm less good about saying no. But yeah, being involved has always been something super important to me. In high school, it kind of just was the natural thing to follow. As many of you may remember, Susanna Moberg, previous Hawk Talk host, I am one of her younger sisters, so following in those pretty large footsteps, it's just always been kind of understood, but also I don't know how to not be busy, and I really like making a difference. So it's been great to have the opportunity to be so involved at DSU.
Perfect. Okay, and the real reason we have you both on here is because you are both the commencement speakers at graduation. So that's coming up. Why did you guys, we'll start with you. Why did you choose, what made you want to become a commencement speaker?
this is something I have been dreaming about since I went to graduation my freshman year. I was an honor guard, Abigail was too, and I saw Carly Bowditch speak. And I guess I really just kind of followed in her footsteps all the way, even all the stuff that I got involved in. And I mean, there's differences and stuff too, but she just really inspired me.
Nice. And Abigail?
Those who went to last year's commencement ceremony may remember that Susanna was also a commencement speaker last year. But it's more than just following in the familial footsteps. Because of my role as the student body president this year, and just all of the different ways that I've been involved on campus, I really do feel like I have lived a lot of student experiences, and so I thought it was fitting just to be able to speak to everyone that I've met on campus and interacted with beyond just my peers in the science department.
Awesome. Okay, so, I mean, I both know your plans, or know both of your plans after graduation, but let's tell everyone else, like, what's your plans after graduation?
Well, they have kind of jumped around a lot. I was going to go to the University of Idaho. I got accepted there. I went and toured. I loved it. And then I just had a feeling, so I took the GRE just for fun, see what happens. It's not fun, just for anyone who's wondering. I don't recommend unless you want to do it. And with that, I got a good enough score that I applied for a couple assistantships. And I got a phone call saying that I had been offered one, so I will take free school over paid school any day. So I will be going to Oklahoma this fall.
Awesome. And what are you going for?
My major will be natural ecology and resource management.
Okay.
It's quite the mouthful.
That's very exciting. And Abigail?
And I am also going on to further my education, but I was accepted into a medical school. So I will be moving to the Caribbean island of St. Martin and attending the American University of the Caribbean Medical School.
That's very exciting. Yes. I'm very jealous that you will now be on the beach all the time.
Every day. Yes, that's where you'll find me if you need me for the next 2 years.
That's quite a jump from the tundra of North Dakota to the Caribbean.
I don't think my pasty Norwegian skin will quite be able to handle it, but I'm sure it'll learn after a couple semesters.
And
Okay,
this
well.
is from the roommate that always turns the heat down when I leave for more than an hour.
Oh, I was also her roommate, and she does like it's very cold. Okay, so what are you guys most excited for when you head into grad school? Like, what are you looking forward to most?
I guess I'm really looking forward to making connections. The school that I'm in had a Facebook group for the incoming class, and then one of the students on there made a group me message group. I think that we've all kind of used that messaging app, but I've gotten connected with some people already and reached out over social medias. So I'm already kind of getting, meeting new people and making a community in other people in the medical field who will be kind of going through the same experiences as I will. So I think I'm really looking forward to moving somewhere I don't know anyone, and kind of making my own roots, making new friends, and starting this next part of my journey to my dream job.
Heck yeah.
I look forward to getting out of the North Dakota winters. I will not miss them at all. I won't miss the ice. I won't miss the snow. Really looking forward to that. I don't really even know what I've gotten myself into. I have not toured there yet. That's the plan right after graduation. So I'm sure I'll be excited then.
Yes.
I do know that they have insomnia cookies there.
Okay.
So I will be able to get fresh, warm cookies at any time of the day. So that'll be cool.
That is very exciting.
Something very much to look forward to.
Okay. I want to ask more of a personal question, I guess. If you could give any advice to the underclassmen, what would it be?
My biggest piece of advice is a little controversial, but don't be afraid of controversy. Like, have some of those conversations where, even if it's a little uncomfortable, just be willing to understand where the other person is coming from. Even if you guys still disagree at the end of the day, that is okay. But I think if we all did a little bit more of that, just as a whole, we would all be a little happier.
Okay.
I guess this might not be surprising coming from me, but I would tell people to be involved with as many things as possible, as much as you can, within reason. I mean, obviously, there were some times when even I extended myself a little bit too far. But it's so important to try new things. I got involved with the science club and went on a trip this year. And then this last weekend, I joined Farm Bureau, and we went and we looked at different ranches, and it was so fun. I learned so many new things because I had no idea about anything they were talking about. And putting yourself in new situations just opens you up for new learning and new growth. And I think that's part of everybody's college experience is learning who you are, learning what you like, and the only way to do that really is trying new things.
I love that. Okay, final question. We ask everyone on Hawk Talk, and since you're new on Hawk Talk, I'm going to ask you guys, what does DSU mean to you?
After 4 years, it comes to mean so much, it's hard to sum it up.
I guess DSU to me just means the place where I found out what I'm good at. I tried some things that I will never do again. I tried some things that I will do for the rest of my life. I've met some people that I intend to keep in contact with, like these two right here. I've known them for a while. It's a good place to be. Like Abigail was saying, you get out of something what you put into it, and we have both put in a lot.
Yes, very true.
I guess DSU really has become a home. I had obviously a rooted connection in the community already growing up here, but it's a different kind of connection now. With professors, with friends, meeting people and making friends who I really do feel like those relationships will last a lifetime, and understanding that I can come back and people will remember me, or be like grateful to see me. They want to hear about how I'm doing, and they're genuinely going to mean it. But I've always had that feeling of importance of relationships here at DSU, and I wouldn't trade my undergraduate experience for anything.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for coming on. I enjoyed interviewing you two so much. And check out their graduation video for further information on both of them. because this was just kind of a scratch on the surface in this one. So thank you both for coming on, and Colter and I will be right back.
Here come your Blue Hawks. Steps into the throw, in the wind, down to the goal line, and caught! Touchdown, Blue Hawks!
And welcome back. Kenzie, you just had your first interview all by yourself. I mean, that was awesome.
Thank you.
You guys have great chemistry. I mean, you've been a roommate with Aspen and Abigail, so
Yes.
it was awesome.
Thanks.
But we're going to switch gears a little bit. We have President Steve Easton. He's going to give his DSU State of the Union address right now.
Hi, I'm Steve Easton. I have the honor of serving as the president of Dickinson State University. I'm also an alum from the class of 1980. And I thought we'd do a little year in the review and we might start with sports. So a year ago at this time, and even into August, we didn't know for sure if there were going to be any athletic events at Dickinson State. And it turned out we had a pretty wonderful year in sports. So, and I apologize if I miss anyone, but let me try to run through them from my perspective as a big Blue Hawk fan and my memory of our year in sports. If we start with the fall sports, both cross-country teams were runner-up in the North Star Athletic Conference meet, which is a pretty substantial accomplishment. We have a pretty tough track and cross-country conference, so to be runner-up on both sides, men's and women's, is a pretty significant accomplishment. Of course, our football team went 9-0. First of all, playing 9 games was pretty remarkable. You might recall that at various points in the season, Dickinson State was the only 6-0 football team, college or pro, in the entire country, the only 7-0 football team, the only 8-0 football team, and then the only 9-0 football team. That's no longer true because some other people have played more games now, but at that time, we held that distinction at all levels of college football and won the conference for the 6th time in a row. We did lose our first playoff game, which should have been in Dickinson, North Dakota, but was instead in Iowa, to the team that is actually going to be playing for the national championship. I won't make any other comments about it. Would be wrong for me to make any comments about the game in Iowa and the lack of a pass interference call. When one of our receivers got pushed with 2 hands, it would just be wrong. So I'm not going to make any comments about that. Then we have a couple of sports. One sport, actually 2 sports that are always fall and spring, and then one sport that this year became fall and spring. The one sport that's always fall or one of the 2 sports that's always fall and spring is the golf teams. That's of course 2 teams again. And our golf teams are slowly moving up the conference. This year, we nudged ahead of Valley City, for example, in golf. Golf's a tough sport at the conference level because Bellevue is really quite remarkable at golf. But we're moving our way up slowly but surely on both the men's and women's golf teams. A rodeo. We had one of the few collegiate rodeos in the country this spring. By the way, a little tip of the cap to our friends at Consolidated. They did an amazing job covering that rodeo for us. And also a whole lot of other things, football, basketball, both sides of basketball, baseball and softball. Consolidated just does an amazing work putting our games out. And the rodeo team is still going strong because that is always a fall and spring sport. And it's looking like we'll have several qualifiers for the college national finals rodeo. Then the sport that for 1 year only became a fall and spring sport, in addition to football, which became that, was volleyball. And again, our volleyball team had a strong season, slowly but surely moving up the conference rankings. And I think the good things ahead, good year, and also good things ahead for the volleyball team. All right, so that brings us to the winter. In the winter, both our men's and women's teams were, basketball teams, were a little bit undersized. Didn't have a lot of height on either of those teams, but they really outperformed their height on both the men's and women's sides. Quite a few upsets. The men, for example, beat one of the strongest teams in the conference, Mayville State, beat them twice, in fact. I think both of those wins were in Mayville. One of them was sort of a early season game, and the other one was the conference game. Women also had some big some upsets. Courtney Olson being named first team North Star, very well deserved honor, and the women won their first game in the conference tournament, which was on the road at Viterbo, if my memory is correct. Very unusual to win a conference basketball tournament game on the road. Wrestling, we had a qualifier for the national tournament, and then we had a new sport, a new competitive sport this year of cheer. A lot of us remember that cheer event that we had, I think, in February against St. Francis of Indiana. A really fun night where our team was in Scott Gym and their team was in their gym, and the judges were judging via the internet. Cheer, like football, had an undefeated regular season and then got sent to the toughest regional competition in the country, where they finished third in that regional to two teams that finished very high in the national tournament. Might have been 1 and 2 in the national tournament, but anyway, they were very, very high. So cheer had a great start to its entree into competitive sports. They've been a big part of Dickinson State for a long time, supporting our other teams, and did that really well this year too. But just a wonderful start for CB Schneider's cheer squad. Also in the winter, our indoor track teams won the conference on both the men's and the women's side, becoming our second and third conference champions in addition to football. And they are nearing the end, but in the middle of a strong spring season in track. Had some pretty substantial accomplishments. Cleat was the second in the heptathlon, or the multi-sport individual, or I mean indoor, on the indoor side. His sister Renzi's also done very well on the multi-sport, both of whom are Hawk Talk veterans. And great things happen in the outdoor season, including the breaking, Faith Sullivan's breaking of a 27-year-old Dickinson State triple jump record in a recent meet, and their season also continues on. That brings us to the bat and ball sports. Softball had another very strong campaign, finishing third in the conference. As we record this, softball is at the conference tournament, having won their first game this morning, and they'll continue on. We've got great hopes for them in the conference tournament. Baseball was added this year, returned. We had a baseball team, and then we had a bit of a hiatus, and baseball came back with a remarkably successful season for a first-year baseball team. Kudos to the Blue Hawks on the baseball diamond. I think it'd be fair to say that they exceeded any of our reasonable expectations, anyway, in their first year of competition. It's been great to have them back on board. Now, of course, I am worried that I've missed someone. If there's a Blue Hawk team that I've missed, I apologize for that. But it was given that 10 months ago we weren't sure there were going to be any sports, I think you'd have to mark this down as a pretty wonderful year. All those teams had to deal with the testing and COVID-19 protocol, and our student athletes and coaches did a great job with that. And you know, we had a pretty remarkable year in sports. We also brought back some JV sports, and that was also exciting. Didn't get, because of it being the COVID year, didn't get quite as many games for those teams as we will in the future. That's something to look forward to in the future. If I might take a minute to, even though this is Hawk Talk, to talk about some non-sports thing that happened in the past academic year. Unlike most universities in the United States, we had live theater productions. We had several live concerts. Our fine arts folks did a wonderful job of working their way through the pandemic. In the fall, the fall play, Almost Maine, there were those masks that they had to wear, but they overcame that. They overcame that barrier. We were this year of the 11 North Dakota University System institutions. We had the highest increase in enrollment of all 11 institutions, both in raw numbers and in a percentage basis. Most colleges, or the overall figure nationwide in the United States, was down 4%. We were actually up about 4 to 5 to 7%, depending upon which of the enrollment figures that you look at, full-time equivalent or head count. So it was a great year. We were really happy to welcome all those new Blue Hawks. We brought Selke Hall back online as a residence hall. That was very well received by our students. Added the master's degree in athletic leadership, a very popular degree, which will, as of this fall, after we get one more approval, will convert to a standalone master's degree. It's now in the School of Education, and that's been very well received. And this fall, if we sort of convert to things to look forward to, in the future at Dickinson State this fall, with one more round of approval at the accreditors level, we'll be adding a master's in business administration, and we've already received a lot of interest in that program. We've also made a conversion to having many, not quite all, but many of our classes available via remote access, and that's gotten us some students. For example, we have a brand new partnership with Miles Community College to get students from 2-year degrees to 4-year teaching degrees. So there's a lot good that's happening at Dickinson State. It was an interesting year. It was a challenging year, but I think that we Blue Hawks have a lot to be proud of in the past academic year. I think it is correct to say that in 2020, 2021, Hawks are up because we made some very significant advancement in the year. And with that, and with a thank you for all their work all year, and a thank you for allowing me to take a little bit of the program today, let's turn it back after a break to Colter and Kenzie.
Welcome back. Thank you, President Easton.
You notice anything different?
Yeah. Got a haircut.
I did get a haircut. So it's actually Kenzie's last episode. So Kenzie's been ragging on me this whole season about how I need to get a haircut. So went over to a local barber here in Dickinson, and he fixed me up right. So thank you.
Yes, looks a lot better. Might have to throw a poll up on the Instagram or something. Let the viewers decide which looks better.
Probably this one. I even agree that this one looks a whole lot better. But Kenzie, this is your last episode.
This is.
It's come to a lot. Like, we've interviewed a lot of people, a lot of really good interviews, like this Pierce Brooks interview that we just did last week. I feel like that was probably your and mine best interview.
For sure, that was really good. It's really fun to interview him.
So now I get to ask you a few questions.
Oh boy.
So, as your time as the Hawk Talk host, is there a particular moment where you were just like, yeah, this is a lot of fun?
I would say, honestly, right away, for me, it was like, okay, this is a lot of fun. I think after our first interview, obviously I was freaking out when we came into our first interview, but I think once that one finished, it was just like, okay, like this is gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think like all times writing questions, just finding guests, and I think it was just all fun. I don't know.
Do you ever go outside and just be like, hey, aren't you that girl from Hawk Talk?
You know, that has happened to me a couple times. I work at Dakota Community Bank, and some of our customers come in and ask me that. So that's been kind of fun too. A little different.
Yeah.
Being noticed.
So, do you have any words of advice for Gunnar taking over in the knowledge that you've learned here in your semester long of doing the show, or whole year long of doing the show?
Yes.
Do you have any advice?
I would say don't wait till the night before to find a guest.
We have done that quite a bit.
Creates a lot of stress. And I guess my main advice would be to just have fun with it, because I think our best interviews have been when we're both just having fun and just kind of going with the flow of things. And I don't know. I think that would be my best advice, is make sure you have fun with it.
I'd have to agree. No, this show's been a lot of fun. Like, you and I are really good friends. So now I want to give you your time. I know you wrote something down. This kind of looks like my paper, but it's actually Kenzie's paper. So Kenzie, take it away.
Okay, so this is my farewell to everyone. I would first like to thank the Heritage Foundation just for sponsoring this show, giving us this opportunity to get on every week and fill the fans in on what's going on at DSU and just give them a little personal connection to various students and athletes that are involved in the campus. And I would like to thank you. First, I would like to thank you for getting a haircut for my last episode. Second, I'd like to thank you for convincing me that this isn't terrible and I would actually have a lot of fun with it, and giving me the opportunity to be on the show with you. I would also like to thank Consolidated for being here every week to film us, specifically Ron and Trace. You guys are the best and very talented. I mean, how many times have they edited our film and just made it look incredible? So thank you both so very much. And lastly, I would like to thank all the guests that have been on Hawk Talk. I have enjoyed every single interview, and you guys always come in and are willing to do whatever we ask of you, whether it be, are you smarter than a fifth grader questions,
We haven't done it in a long time.
We haven't, but that would probably stress me out. And so, I mean, it's just been a lot of fun overall. I would say that Hawk Talk has really impacted me my senior year. It's kind of given me an outlet of like getting myself out there, expressing myself. I think I've learned a lot of lifelong skills from this, like public speaking, interviewing, all things I'll need like in the future for sure. I guess my favorite part of Hawk Talk has probably been when we asked the question, what does DSU mean to you? I love the answers that you guys give, and it just kind of shows the community that we were able to be a part of. And I think that it's really cool that everyone feels the same way, that Dickinson is just an amazing community, an amazing place to go to college, and you make lifelong friends. Like, I mean, we just had Aspen and Abigail on, and you've been a close-knit group since freshman year, and so it's exciting that we get to have that for the rest of our lives.
Wow. I mean, I'm touched that you were able to toss me in there, but I think the most important part is we have our producer and our videographer. We have Ron and Trace. I mean, those guys are rock stars. So thank you guys for all that you do. You guys are the best. So Kenzie, you are probably my best friend that I've
Yes.
ever met. I love you.
Okay, don't make me cry.
This show has been so much fun,
Yes.
and I love every minute of it, even when we're trying to not nag each other about, man, this question kind of sucks, I don't think we should write it. But man, I think that we've moved the show quite a bit,
Yes.
and I just want to thank Parker and Nate for starting this out. Thank you guys a lot.
Yes.
So, Kenzie, thank you very much. It's been an awesome season.
Yeah, it's been a ride, Colter.
I'm really trying not to cry
I
right
know.
now. So,
Okay.
Kenzie and I will be right back right after this. And welcome back for the last time this year. We just want to thank everybody who's been on this show. Thank you to all our faculty. Thank you to all the students that have been on. It's been a heck of a ride. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to Ron and Trace once again. You guys have killed it this year. So
yes,
thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you to Consolidated Channel 18 for producing this show. Thank you to the DSU Heritage Foundation. Make sure you follow us on our social medias at DSU Heritage Fund and on Instagram at DSU Foundation. Thank you guys so much.
I guess this is it. This is the last time you'll be seeing me on this show.
I was just going to say thank you to all the fans first. I thought you were going with that first.
Okay, well,
Thank you to all the fans. Without you, the show isn't possible.
very true.
So,
Thanks to everyone that Colter just listed and that I listed in my farewell address. We really appreciate everything that everyone does to make this happen. And I guess this is the last time, so.
make sure you tune into our Twitter and our Instagram to learn more about the 2021-2022 season of Hawk Talk. And I think for the final time for this season, Hawks are up. You guys ready?
Ready.
And with that, Hawks are up.